And it looks like we are live. So this is another, well, the intro spiel is in the live chat, so that's that. More to that, might be some audio issues, mostly due to the fact that I don't know what happened with my computer, but now all the settings are weird. I had to change them back, and I'm still, I don't know. I'm just hoping that it doesn't have any long-standing issues it shouldn't. There is a chance that at some point my audio cuts out and I might not notice. Well, audio for the microphone. So there's that. If anyone's in the live chat at that time, they can confirm that for me. And then it's a pretty easy thing to just double check. But anyway, let's just try not to die. I haven't played in a while, so gotta warm up slowly. We all know what happens when I don't. I'm debating doing the college quests to completion now, but I don't know how long that's going to take, and Labyrinthian is a pretty difficult Nordic ruin. Honestly, the Dragon Priest shouldn't be that big of an issue, because enchanted armor, but it's going to be a lot of Droga Deathlords. I think maybe we could go for Grim Sever. That might be a thing to do. But I think I also need to offload some stuff. In fact, let me check. I might have a bunch of stuff I was looking to sell. Doesn't look like it though. I'll head to Whiterun. Evaluate after that. Well, if I'm gonna do that, good argument to be made, I should go up to Windhelm. Just take the carriage. Oops. See? Still getting accustomed to the game again. Was playing a bit of Fallout 4, looking at the viability of having a no-death run of that. That's considerably harder, I would say. More stuff like grenades, bottle cap mines. Those tend to one-shot you unless you're in power armor. And even if you're in power armor, it still does a chunk of damage. Not to mention the bullets. I mean, those do quite a bit already. And I was testing out Subnautica. Because, you know, a hardcore run on that's not actually that difficult. And that's, you know, straight set a survival game, so that's good to talk about survival in. Arguably more so than Skyrim. About to say off to a good start, but no. Now we're missing every shot. Stop moving, please. Archery's overrated. I waited and still missed. Oh well. Now, where's Jen? Oh, there she is. Going for a swim. Those look to be mages, so they shouldn't be too much fuss, considering the armor. Maybe a fox ran through or something. She was aggroed to something. I don't know what, but she was aggroed to something. Oh, come on. Scar. I don't think I've ever actually done this. Huh. Name rings a bell, but I don't think I've actually ever cleared this. Hello. I see you. Do you see me? Should definitely wait to loot the bodies, but there's a bit of a problem insofar as if I don't have my shield out, that's a good chunk of my magic resist down. And that's the most important chunk, the last bit. Do I have, oh, what's that spell? Sparks, Frostbite, yeah, I have them all. All the ones that matter. For dispelling the ruins, that sort of stuff. You know what, I don't need the black mage robes anymore. They're just taking up weight, honestly. I already have plenty of gold, considering how long I've been playing this. Honestly. I'll grab more expensive sets of robes, but those, I'll drop them. You gotta at least see what's inside. All right then. Do we need iron ingots? I think we actually do, because we still got to build the house.
We're one of the same kind, if that is what you wish.
Good for now. We definitely need to stop back at, honestly, stop back at that house to drop off a lot of the good stuff.
Serve us well in this place. Let us take our foes by surprise.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I haven't... Oh, I never, Here's the thing, I don't think I've ever actually completed the Sanguine Rose quest. I don't think I ever actually have, come to think of it. No, I haven't. Because I always just saw the Sanguine Rose guy as... What's his name? Oh, who's that called? That guy, the guy, Sam Guinevere, whatever, I don't know. He always seemed just annoying to me. So I never actually, like, talked to him. Maybe I should do that one day, although not this playthrough, because Daedric shenanigans.
Trouble is in the air here.
Finally, some good fucking shots. I always swear at the most, like, unjustified times. In that case, it was for a meme, so... Yeah, well, unfortunately for this run, a lot of the Daedric quest rewards are kinda... at best, sorta. They're just kinda... okay. I'll use the filter. So I have 3 elixirs of it. Nice, you played yourself, dude. I gotta really keep good check of my health bar, because even with all my resist magic gear, these pyromancers just throw out high level fire spells. Like, what's my resist magic at? My goodness. Like, hold on. Resist magic, 15%, 19, 19. That's why. I didn't have my shield up. Yeah, I have no kill cam up, because otherwise, you know, I would just die relentlessly in the beginning, because there's no way mathematically to make it so that you don't get insta-killed, because the way it works, I swear, Skyrim was a game that was just made, the mechanics of which are kind of wonky. Unfortunately, it's really like, unless you can figure out some way to have so much health and mitigations early that stuff won't four-shot you, you are going to get one-shot by a no-kill cam. You're going to get one-shot by like a bandit chief or something. You have to make it so that you don't get four-shot by bandit chiefs. And it's one thing to make it so you don't get one shot, but to make it so that you can't. Hold on, let's look at that. That's I have the. Loading mods. It is called no kill moves, no kill cams, no something. And it's the one that's 825 bytes. So if you just search up no kill moves, you should find it. No problem. Honestly, it's better without them. Playing this, it's better without all the kill moves, kill cams. Thanks for checking that it resets, Janassa. Probably ditch some of these pretty soon. I'm so weary to do it though unless I can like make a replacement.
They die too quickly. Huh?
Huh, indeed. Having resistance on my shield's a little annoying. Because I don't always have it out. Oh well. Not that big of a deal.
What the?
I might want to put frost and shock resist on it instead. Although we'll see. We'll see how things play out. Anyway, that's more of a issue I'm going to have to come to when I make the endgame armor. Speaking of which, I do plan to do Dragon Rising sometime soon. Definitely sooner rather than later. Maybe in the next stream I might. Because come to think of it, I don't have to fight dragons. That's an ironic book to be here. Oops, it must have fallen in the river. Thanks for the stamina, Time Perceptive. You can be an Imperial, that's fine. But if you say Talos isn't a god, why does he heal my diseases? Yeah, I'll sell some stuff while I'm here. I'm sure there's stuff in my inventory that I need to ditch. Maybe I should do the white file quest. I could do that. Or I could start the Dawnguard quests. I've been meaning to get Sunfire. Those type of... You know what? I think that's what I'll do. Start the Dawnguard quests. Now that I have sufficient magic resistances, should be good. Or maybe I'm walking to my death. That might also be true.
Everyone, take a look.
I think I've got good enough armor for it.
Knives and other goods for the home, all is reasonable. I don't. Take a look.
What is weighing me down so much is my question. It's a good one to get as your first, one of your first mods. I'd also suggest visual mods because they make the game look nice. I probably couldn't play Skyrim without at least the nice map mod. Nah, those types of spells I'm swearing off of because I don't want to. I want the mods to be sort of still vanilla. I don't want to deviate anything that'll make the game easier. It's okay if it makes it harder, but if it makes it easier, that you could very well make the argument that I'm cheating. Since this is a no-death playthrough. That's a nice one that I might have... I could have gone with that, but too late now. I mean, for your own personal playthroughs, you know, whatever floats your boat. I even pick up some different mods that make things, that rebalance shouts, that sort of stuff. But for this, no. But whatever floats your boat otherwise, I mean, it's your game, you paid for it. I can ditch some of the... My way of dealing with vampires is actually to use restoration spells, the ones that are... Oh, what are those called? The Sunfire and Vampire's Bane. Oh my goodness, those are good spells for just completely hosing vampires and Draugr. It puts them out of their misery. Especially since this my endgame set of armor is going to have restoration reduction, so that restoration spells are going to cost 0 magicka. So, I mean, most of the high-level enemies you come across in Skyrim, besides dragons, are undead. Think about it. Draugr, vampires. Doesn't work on werewolves, but how often do you run into a werewolf? Doesn't work on dragons, but good set of magic resist gear and a bow. Those go down pretty easy. Bow of overwhelming damage is always a good option. I gotta see what I can ditch, though.
Thank you for your custom.
Take a good look around. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. If not, let me know. Take a look.
If you were about to say the 8, round that up.
Why are you...
And there's another alchemy thing, right?
You're standing around here. Go get me the file, you fool.
I'm gonna be a little more smart about
Fetch me
this.
a copy of the firmament and...
Yeah, Resto Loop is... I'm pretty sure it's patched in unofficial Skyrim patch.
From Corral Mills too? There's no way it's that precise.
Confound it, boy, I know what I'm doing. It will help me determine the season of his burial, which I can reference.
I apologize, Master.
Don't waste time apologizing.
Alchemy enchant loop is fine, but alchemy the resto loop is not okay. That is clearly an exploit. So I personally dislike that.
I don't appreciate loiterers, if that's what you're here to do.
Where is... Because the thing with the alchemy enchanting loop is that it has a diminishing return. You can only get so far with it.
Gawk at my goods.
Whereas Fortify Resto has no soft cap. As far as I know, I never actually pulled it off because I never had any reason to do so. Seems kind of stupid in my opinion. Like, oh, you want to... At that point, just go into the console, press TGM. Look at that number. Nah, I don't need to do anything in here. I do need to do that, though. That might actually be a damage health potion worth keeping. I think I do, yeah. I definitely recognize the username. Were you the one that had the level capped character? That was capped at like around 30 something, 40 something? I don't. It's kind of hard to remember. Especially since these things tend to happen so late.
I'm sorry to always be so hard on you, boy. I just worry I don't have much time left.
Don't say such things. There is always time.
Don't be so sure. Now, have you finished grinding the dried snow berries?
Not yet.
Take
I'm
a
sorry,
look.
I was reading up on the effects of distillation.
That one's actually worth keeping. 63 points. That's... Speaking of not worth keeping, what's with, like... Who... Does anyone actually use potions of damage magicka and damage magicka regen? I'm sure they'd actually be good against mages, but... When would you use one? Mages are either a huge problem or not a problem at all. And stamina, forget it. I can... You know... How often? I'm sure someone uses them.
Why are you still... What?
You know
I
about
don't
towns?
haggle. Some may
Found
call
in
this
the
junk.
Empire.
Me, I call them treasures.
How so? I didn't realize dragons used magicka. I suppose they use it in there when they breathe. But honestly, dragons are the most counterable enemy I think I've ever seen in a game. Literally, like, as long as you're not sword and boarding them, you can counter a dragon incredibly easy with various tools. If you run in like an idiot, you're liable to get killed, but typically I find they're fairly easy opponents as long as you know what you're doing. Do you have anything I need? I have an ingot, I suppose. Oh, they... Interesting. I did not know that. Last playthrough, I did a paladin build. That was what this is based off. In my estimation, though, dragons are typically most dangerous on the ground. But it depends on what difficulty you're playing on, what gear you have. At this point, I'm expecting, you know, my magic resist should be able to just tank it. So. But yeah, the playthrough this was based off of, I realized that you can basically completely laugh in a dragon's face if you just put up a ward, because all the shouts are technically magic and are blocked by wards. Like, wards are completely useless against mages, because of course they are, but against dragon shouts, oh, they're so great. They're actually useful. Yeah, why not?
Thank you. Custom.
Oop. Let's not forget to put the actual gear on. A lot of people sleep on a lot of different skills
They're reforming the Dawnguard. Vampire hunters.
simply because they don't realize their potential in non-obvious areas, I think. Like, the Vampire's Bane spell is really cheap to use, and it does very good damage against undead if you spec into restoration, but you might only think to use it against vampires as opposed to completely mopping the floor with a dragon priest's face with Vampire's Bane. It turns dragon priest fights into a literal just pound town experience. You just like, it's not even a fight. I think Lesser Ward does break if you don't put it up fast enough, but I think it mitigates enough damage.
Oh, pardon me. Was I in your way?
I'd have to check though.
The best way for us to win the Nord's respect is through hard work.
Need something?
Where do you want to go?
I gotta drop stuff off at the house. I don't think you need stuff like Greater Ward, but honestly,
Time and back, and we'll be off.
I think if you want a really fun late game playthrough, go for the Paladin build. Restoration will cover all your bases in certain situations. It's offensive against the undead, it's defensive, and it's defensive against dragons with the ward spells. And if you just get, a set of 100% cost reduction restoration, which isn't that hard to get early, you're set. You're just completely, you can cast this vast range of spells, keeping your magicka for other stuff. Maybe you want to summon out an Atronach or whatever. But you can just do all these different things. Now you've got me charged up. I definitely need to start the Dawnguard quest so I can start hosing out fireballs, basically. It's really great too because Vampire's Bane's AoE, it's basically a fireball that only damages undead. So if you get a vampire attack in, say, Dawnstar, nah. Those sun damage spells, because they're so cheap, you can throw out one, then another, then another, then another. You literally have no end. It's similar to how it's very similar to how a lot of people will do a mage playthrough. Is they'll have 100% destruction reduction, which is all well and good, but because of the rate of charging the spell and throwing it and then charging it, it doesn't take the individual damage is low, around 40, I think, per throw. One-handed, not dual cast. But I mean, in terms of DPS, just think how fast those things can go, and they're AoE. And they're AoE where you don't have to aim, really. Because if there's friendlies in the way, they won't get hurt by it. It only affects undead. So you just... Oh, now I'm wound up at this point. Dawnguard away. It's gonna happen. Now it needs to happen. That's what's weighing me down. Thanks, Chargo. can definitely double check, but I think so on.
We're one of the same, if that is what you wish.
I'd have to. I can't do it off my head. I had to workshop the actual damage values and evaluate them based on what the average health of a high tier vampire is. That's the only way I can get a real good estimate on how much damage they actually do. Or I can get the spells and smack a masked vampire with them, and we'll find out. That'd be one way to do it. Excuse me. Honestly, what's the draw speed of your bow? What bow are you using is the question. And do you have the perk that reduces draw speed? Because if you don't, DPS might actually be higher. Bow's still a good option. But the problem with bow is you also can't. One, it's less rewarding and cool to just, sometimes it's just fun to walk through a Draugr ruin and just, I have the power of the sun, just throwing, it's not even a fight, honestly. And that's just one part of the perk, honestly. The other part of the perk is, I don't, if those don't cost any magicka, neither do the resto spells for healing. Yeah. Actually, Zephyr has a bit of a problem. The arrow velocity is a bit due to the, again, I find myself constantly saying that this game was written with, they never fixed any of the bugs that they wrote into their own damn game. But Zephyr fires slower projectiles because of the way they coded the speed increase. I think it's still, it's not bad, but from what I hear, it's not great for long-range sniping because it... Unfortunately, it just... the way it works isn't really conducive to it. It should be fine. A bear? Well, hello. Come on, at least give me the courtesy of fighting back. Nah, considering how far Riften is away, it's probably just more advantageous to head over. Just take care of it with Whiterun. I would double check me on that though. I'm not entirely sure, but for some reason it rings a bell in my head that Zephyr has some coding issue that makes it. That might be fixed by the unofficial Skyrim patch. I would have to check, but I think in the base game, arrow velocity suffers due to draw weight. Personally, my favorite bow is the Daedric bow, simply because for whatever reason it has the highest arrow velocity. Which means takes a little getting used to, but you tend to get much better pinpoint accuracy on longer range targets. And it's way easier to lead targets once you get used to it, due to the high bow draw weight. Plus, it looked cool. And honestly, you gotta have weapons and armor that look cool. Come on. That's why the rest of the Daedric armor set and weapons is, you know, I've never even touched one. Because I like my things to look practical. Daedric looks about as practical as walking out into the snow wearing a bikini. It's like climbing Everest in a Speedo. Too many spikes, and in just the right places to make trying to use that stuff very painful for the user. I think Skyrim has a very good video on that, although he ripped into basically every Skyrim weapon. They're a little too thick, if you know what I mean. Except this one. I do like the ebony sword. I just wish the sword came a little further down. The actual blade. I feel like I'm hitting people with a club sometimes, but at least to proportion correctly. Maybe I should actually start Dragon Rising before. No big deal. Because I do need to. I'm not gonna make another ebony set to put cost reduction for resto on it. That's just. It's not gonna work that way. No siree. So I might need to do Dragon Rising so I can get Dragon Armor to then put my stuff on. Oh yeah, Daedric Bow is very slow. It's definitely one of those. Put it this way, the use of a quick draw bow like Zephyr and the use of a long draw bow like the Daedric bow are very different. They're essentially used for different purposes, ideally. Their optimization, independent of their damage capabilities, their optimal use situations are vastly different. They're almost different weapons, despite both being bows.
My favorite drinking.
I have a gold coin.
Oh, thank you. Divines bless your kind heart.
No.
Good thing I was going to feed you cabbages and apples again. Yes, little fairy, we can go to the tavern for supper.
I could do Bleak Falls Barrow. I'll do the Dawnguard's questline first, because Bleak Falls Barrow will be easier if I have resto to throw around. Because the sun spells are good for leveling restoration as well. So I'll do those Dawnguard questlines. I wish you could get the spells some other way, but
I can take you. Where do you want to go?
looks like I'm gonna be strapped with Serana. Oh goody. Bound bow.
Climb and back, and we'll be off. Couldn't ask for better. I might have to stop and get myself a pint at Blackbriar Mead while I'm drifting. It's worth the trip all by itself.
I find bound weapons kinda
Too lazy to walk, eh? Well, you found the right place.
bound weapon, as with a lot of Skyrim's design, bound weapons aren't bad, but in my opinion they're kinda outclassed with how the rest of the game goes, because you can't upgrade them. So there's that. Lovely. Here's the question: do I let these guys duke it out first, or do I help out one side, or do I grab the popcorn? What do you think, Janessa? She doesn't think anything. She's a man. Ooh. Hey. I'm watching here. Anyway, I love how the plentiful healing potion barely does anything. Hey. Your spells forgot to do damage. Your axe remembered, though. Ow. I probably should have switched to fast healing in the right hand. That would have solved a lot of my problems. I find disarm is only a problem if you can't find the weapon afterwards. And whenever that happens, I'm always thinking, I am going to kill this stupid Trogger Deathlord so hard after this. Hey! I did not give you permission to do damage. everything is hitting me hard today. Kindly, kill this fool, Vanessa, please. Question why he was using the elven dagger as opposed to the dwarven sword of freezing. The world may never know. Also, typically if I'm disarmed on these characters... What now? My goodness. I swear, walking through the rift at night is not... it's a bad place to be, it seems. That's definitely a mage. Vampires don't throw out that many spells that quickly. Definitely should kill the fire mage first, though. All things considered. Because Nord. Hello. That didn't stagger him? Come on. What is this? Alright, let's see what's next. My bet is gargoyles. But yeah, the problem with bound weapons is that they don't do really any more damage than standard melee weapons unless you don't use smithing. And you need magicka to summon them, so that's taking away from your magicka pool to use for other stuff. I don't know. I've used them sometimes, but mostly for aesthetic reasons on builds. I had a vampire build I used them on. But even if I were to do a similar playthrough of Skyrim, legendary, no death, but mage, I would still have a non-bound dagger of some sort on me. Hello. Why bother, honestly? Let's go, Janessa. I wish the wolves would take a hint. You know, you're in heavy armor. Just... Can you not attack me, please? This place is so nice at dawn.
Oh, hey there. You here to join the Dawnguard too? Truth is, I'm a little nervous. I've never done anything like this before. I hope you don't mind if I walk up with you? Hey, don't tell Isran I was afraid to meet him by myself. Not the best first impression for a new vampire hunter, I guess.
I know if you read all the tablets up to High Hrothgar, they don't attack you. Also works for vampires for some reason. Looks like Dawnguard, the first of the main quests I'm going to start.
Why are you here, Nolan? The Vigilance and I were finished with each other a long time ago.
You know why I'm here. The Vigilance
Yeah.
is under attack everywhere. The vampires are much more dangerous than we believed.
So who are you? What do you want? Got a fire in your ability to kill vampires, eh? Good for you. But look around. There's really not much to join yet. I've only just started rebuilding the Order. I need someone out in the field taking a fight to the damn vampires. Tolan was telling me about some cave the Vigilants were poking around in. Seemed to think it was related to these recent vampire attacks.
Nice sideburns, dude.
Tolan, tell him about, what was it? Dim Hollow.
Yes, that's it. Dim Hollow Crypt. Brother Adalvald was sure it held some long-lost vampire artifact of some kind. We didn't listen to him any more than we did Isran. He was at the hall when it was attacked.
That's good enough for me. Go see what the vampires were looking for in this Dim Hollow crypt.
Might be worth it to train an additional 2 more heavy armor skill. Jeez.
Found something for you to do, eh?
Yeah, everyone's first character tends to be a little underpowered. That's just how Elder Scrolls works. Everything levels with you, and if you do a little bit of everything, and you do the wrong little bit of everything at certain times, you'll be in for a world of hurt. Shame I didn't come in here with the sun rising in the east over here. Oh well. In my opinion, wards should also act like a raised shield, but it should have a damage value that it can mitigate before it breaks. The fact that they only work against spells is kinda eh. There's really no good opportunities to use them where it's really viable, except in terms of dragon attacks. I think they add a little bit to your armor value, but it's not enough to really make a difference, I don't think. I think they added stone flesh and that sort of spells to take care of that function.
Time to get lost, friend.
But in my opinion, they're kind of eh. Yeah, I do agree with most games that there needs to be some sort of balance so that everyone isn't an everyman, but they need to really think of that in a way where it's like, okay, well, we don't want a jack of all trades build to just be equally as good as a specialized build, because that's obvious. But maybe, if you're a level 30 jack of all trades guy, you should be akin to a level 20 in every category. 25, something like that. That way it's still viable, but you don't have to deal with people just, it's a little annoying to have no benefit to a specialized build. I can definitely see why that would be a decision. So Dim Hollow Crypt is stone's throw away from Morthal, right? Yep. Man, I have so many quests at this one little patch of land. So yeah, I'll head to Morthal. Maybe I'll knock off a bunch of quests on my way.
Need a ride?
Yes.
Carriage, it's the same.
Don't you do this to me.
Need something?
I'll run into the inn. Where's Kirava and all of them? Yeah, I can't go with glass cannon for this playthrough. That's sometimes it's fun to do that sort of stuff on other playthroughs, but with this one, I'd end up quite dead fairly quickly.
Welcome to the Bee and Barb, my lord. If I can interest you in one of our special drinks, you let me know. If you'll excuse
Where's
me,
Kirava?
I have other things to attend to.
Probably behind the locked door. Okay. Well then. Yeah, my armor rating at the moment, what is it? Yeah, it's a little above 400. A little underpowered. I definitely need to pump it up a little bit more. My mitigations aren't what I want them to be, but what really makes it is the 550
Need a ride? Where do you want to go?
health. 550 health will pretty much take any one hit.
Climb and back, and we'll be off. There once was a hero named Rex, riding to right run from old Rorik's head.
Spell Sword's a fun archetype. Difficulty with Spell Sword is finding the budget in terms of magicka to actually send down spells and having the well, hello there. Basically, to get a spell sword build working, you really do need to put an emphasis on getting enchanting up and running pretty soon. I find health is actually the best stat to put stuff in. Magicka is also really nice, and so is stamina, especially for a sword and board character, but health... Stamina and magicka are just quality of life skills. Health keeps you alive. I think once I hit 700 HP, I am going to start putting stuff into magicka, maybe a little bit into stamina. But at that point, I will probably... Yeah, at that point, I'll probably have the armor that reduces resto costs, so it'll just be used for other spell trees. Nice name, by the way. Almost all of my character names are randomizations of some character, you know how they have those on the RPGs? They have, like, character name randomizer. And then I'll take that and I'll take that name and I'll, change it a little bit to make it look cool. And then most of my names are just carryovers from names I liked from that. With the route I went, I wanted to be sure that I'm sure you could run a no-death legendary playthrough on by doing an illusionist. That'd probably be a very good one to go with. But I wanted to be able to mitigate threats whether I see them or not. Oh, you don't know? Not quite. What I would say is that you don't have to give me the definition of zenith, because I looked that up a while ago, because one of the other games I played, League of Legends, one of my favorite, and honestly, not even whoa, Bethesda, do not kill me like that. Do not give me that kind of scare. All right, I'll take the normal route up. But Zenith, one of my favorite League characters to play is Leona. She has an ability called Zenith Blade, and I had no idea what Zenith was at that point, so I looked it up. So that's actually a word that I do know. Could play some of that, but I like to keep it to the survival theme on the channel. Although I might set like a one day a month to play something that's not topical. But anyway, that's my spiel there. So please tell me what John is. I can't really decipher that as a reference to anything or a different word. I never know how to get up to Dim Hollow Crypt. I don't think I've ever found that location from this point. Oh. You see, I didn't think that was a rearrange. I was expecting some sort of, but nice. That's a good one. There goes me assuming a consistent theme. I'll getcha. Assume a consistent theme about something. You'll be unable to think outside the box. A lot of foot traffic for Dim Hollow Crypt. I think those are footprints. They do look like them. I do like that Bethesda actually fleshed out some languages.
Never know when to give up. I thought we'd become enough of a lesson of their horde.
Come here alone. A fool like all the rest of them.
He fought well. Jet on less often.
I always forget how high the arrow velocity is on this bow. Undershoot it at low ranges, typically indoors. That should not have hit. Ooh, ultimate. I'll take that. Eventually all my potions for restoring the 3 bars are going to be ultimate potions, because I'll just have so many of them. That's an ebony bow. Unfortunately, I don't have a Daedric one yet, although I really should get one. Daedric bow up jumps it even a little bit more. Need my arrows. Nah. Unfortunately, even if those even when those mods make the game like more realistic or more suited, it's I want to keep the mod list down as much as I can. There are some mods that I need and some mods that are inconsequential, like the visual ones, but I want to keep a lot of them, you know, keep it as pure as I can keep it, so that I don't get, because I've watched a couple, you know, because it did pique my interest of how you know, have other people done no death legendary playthroughs? Well, yeah, of course. You can have any of that sort of type of stuff whenever you have a difficulty and a arbitrary rule. That's always going to be something that people are going to think to do. But one of them was just sort of I don't know, a lot of them just had so many mods that it was a little, you could argue that it's like unrecognizable. I do have to be careful, because Janasa's somewhere in there, and she could one day just die. And I can't revive her. And now she's getting double teamed. I can't have that. Did you just punch me? Bold move. Hold on. I definitely think I could justify an archery overhaul mod. I have an AI overhaul mod too, so I think I could definitely justify that. But as for now, the mod list is kind of set. I do have a bit of a problem with, you know, on your own playthrough, it's fine. Do whatever you want. But if you're going to be doing a certain, you know, playthrough style that's like, oh, no death or stuff, let's not forget about that. I saw some people playing and they had, like, you know, really overpowered staffs, and it was like, well, you know, it's easy to have a no death playthrough when you have a staff of I win. Cure disease. Let's make sure that it's cured. It is.
What was that?
Nothing. That was weird. I just teleported there, it seems. Again? Already? Soon, eh? It's definitely a good strategy to go with what you know. In my case, what I knew was the strategy of the paladin, which worked really well for me once I hit late game. I was legitimately just able to crank the difficulty up and not have issues with anything. Health was so high, I didn't have to really worry about fighting stuff. I would just consistently win. Oi. Did I say you could do that? That's a lot of damage. I need better armor. You can have a word up in here with... Yeah, that does work. That is a thing that you can do.
I'll never tell you anything, vampire. I oath to Stendar, stronger than any suffering you can inflict on
Yep.
me.
That'll do it.
And I don't think you even know what you found.
Are you sure that was wise, Lokio?
Damn.
He still might have told us
Quite a
something.
sight.
We haven't gotten anywhere ourselves with nothing.
Well, that was bad. You know what? Does this count as a boss fight? I think this counts as a boss fight. Maybe the thing before was a boss fight. So, say let's poison it. Got a filter resistant shock. Yeah, let's use that. And, fortify one-handed. Why not? Hello. Get back here. Sometimes you just do really well with archery. Other times, you just fail miserably. I don't know why. Just continuously. Considering how much I'm muffling myself, I probably should invest in some other illusion spells. But I do want to save most of my mana for healing at this point. I think this one gets pushed in. No, out. Oh wait, no, in. I should have second guessed myself. I wish there were more interesting puzzles in these games. Like they were actually, you had to solve them. As opposed to, push this obvious thing here. I don't wanna.
Where is... Who sent you here? I don't know who that is. Is he like me? Vampire, yes.
Forget the illusion cap. I'm gonna be rolling over illusion and alterate. Actually, because of the way.
Not fond of vampires, are they?
Hold
I
on.
mean, look, kill me, you've killed one vampire. But if people are after me, there's something bigger going on. I can help you find out what that is. My family used to live on an... By the way, my name is Serana. Good to meet you.
So in terms of, what would you call that? Because of how I'm going to be leveling alteration to get magic resistance and Atronach. Because of that, I won't want to turn this legendary in the same way I won't want to turn heavy armor legendary. That's like a death sentence. Never do that. And blocks one you can turn legendary. One-handed, that's a bad idea. Archery, bad idea. Sneak, terrible idea. Speech, not horrible, but you know, how often do you get 100 in speech? Alchemy, kind of. You know, all these are acceptable for legendarying, but illusion's the best one because there's, I mean, the only thing that's really good in there, unless you're playing with illusion spells, is quiet casting. And I don't think, aside from shouts, most spells aren't that loud. Hey, Rocky. You gonna explode? Always at the most inopportune times, of course. Come on. Come on. Ooh. Good thing it's not a very strong one. That's a good strategy if you're working on a level cap. As for me, though, I want to level up pretty... I'm basically going to use illusion to farm perk points. Maybe some other stuff, too. Because, I mean... what's the point, really? Unfortunately, once you hit the level cap in your skills, you have to legendary something, and if you pick the wrong skill, you dead. So I still want there to be progression afterwards, even if it is just muffling, getting a little bit more, you know, muffling, getting more perk points, or maybe legendarying block and training with that skill. I don't want to hit the level cap and then... I mean, for some characters it makes sense, but for this one I don't want to level up in that way and then just stop. Oh yeah. Alteration's also an option because if you're sitting in a city and you have detect life, you can just hold that down, and that is a very, very good way to level fairly quickly if you have cost reduction. Hit me. Hit me less hard. Thank you.
You're not going to kill me in here.
Cool.
Did you hear something?
You'd have to have a lot of stuff stacked together to get it in one cast, though. I definitely should have went in there sneak, but I was talking, so you know what? We'll be fine. I'll take that to sell. Come here. I'm gonna be 101-handed pretty soon. Dude, that's one of my shots. He shot so bad it reminded me of me. That scared me for a second. I thought he was going for me. I don't think it's actually possible for anything to one-hit me, but they can get close. Not forget the loot. Ooh. It's not very useful, though. I already have a bunch of money. Well, yeah, thank goodness you don't have to deal with enemy players.
So good to breathe again. Even in
You
this
would
weather,
get,
it's better than a cave.
most builds would get completely toasted in one hit. No, dude. That's weak. Put some poison on that. Level up your alchemy, put some real strong poison on that to get even better damage. It's not real damage until you overkill Karstag in one hit with like 30,000 extra damage to spare. Skyrim does allow, even without exploits, it allows some pretty ridiculous damage values. If you really cared enough to grind it out, you could probably kill any boss. Poisons aren't bad, hear me out, if you have enchanted alchemy gear and you know which poisons to mix. Plus, you know, weakness to poison is also a factor. But you, especially, alchemy potions aren't really useful unless you know specifically what kinds to make, in my opinion. If you just go and make random potions, they're not going to be good. I'm close to Dawnstar, right? Yep. Yeah, jar and root is, well, there's a decent potion you can make, I think, with River Betty and Crimson Nern root. And I think you need, or no, I can't remember what it is that actually does it, but it's something with, that's nice backstory. In terms of, a lot of people make their, I find true D&D people make their backstories believable and interesting, and with, you know, that sort of, you know, they have a non-heroic flair to them. The heroism comes afterwards. Oh, shut up.
Your loss, but if you change your mind, I'll be here.
In terms of, like, but people who, like, aren't experienced with D&D and just, you know, they'll put heroism in during the backstory, and then at that point it's just kind of
Looking to hire a boat? I can take you. Where you headed? The one with the ruined castle? Don't you know that place is cursed? Even seasoned sailors steer far around that place. I'll take you as far as I can, but I'm not hanging around, and it's gonna cost you extra. Climb on in and let's get this over with.
All right. Speaking of getting attacked by vampires, this is a wholly bad idea.
Hey, so before we go in there, I wanted to thank you for getting me this far. But after we get in there, I'm going to go my own way for a while. I think. I know your friends would probably want to kill everything in here. I'm hoping you can show some more control than that. Once we're inside, just keep quiet for a bit. Let me take the lead.
Yeah, it's funny, you never see any Khajiit vampires in the base game. Unless you become one yourself, of course. Honestly, with the sheer number of bandits, vampires, and other garbage out in the world in Skyrim, it's a wonder everyone doesn't get killed by bandits and vampires.
Wait, Serana? Is that truly you? I cannot believe my eyes.
Man, this place is drafty.
My lord, everyone! Serana has returned!
I guess I'm expected.
I can't believe it.
My long-lost daughter returns.
returns at last. I trust you have my Elder Scroll.
After all these years, that's the first thing you ask me? Yes, I have the scroll.
Of course, I'm delighted.
Seems
to
like a
see
lovely
you, my
establishment.
daughter. Must I really say the words aloud? Ah, if only your traitor mother were here. I would let her watch this reunion before putting her head on a spike. Now tell me, who is this stranger you have brought into our hall?
This is my savior, the one who freed me.
For my daughter's safe return, you have my gratitude. Tell me, what is your name?
And I'd like to stay a survivor.
I am Harkon, Lord of this court. By now, my daughter would have told you what we are.
I honestly forgot what the name was that I set for this. Probably should have come up with something more interesting, but eh. I wasn't really expecting to get this far.
Not just vampires. We are among the oldest and most powerful vampires in Skyrim. For centuries we lived here, far from the cares of the world. All that ended when my wife betrayed me and stole away that which I valued most. You have done me a great service, and now you must be rewarded. There is but one gift I can give that is equal in value to the Elder
Trying to
Scroll.
center this is really difficult.
I offer you my blood. Take it and you will walk as a lion among sheep. Meh. Then you will be prey, like all
You just went
mortals.
meh.
I will spare your life this once, but you will be banished from this hall. Perhaps you still need convincing. Behold the power!
It's funny to cut them off at interesting times.
This is the power that I offer. Now, make your choice. So be it. You are prey, like all mortals. I banish you.
Honestly, hot take, but I personally think shock spells are superior to fire spells in this game. And ice spells, I mean, who even uses ice spells when most of the opponents you'll be coming across are Nords? Because shock spells, there's nothing that defends against them. A lot of stuff has mitigations against fire, and a lot of stuff has mitigations against frost. Nothing really has any mitigations against shock. The only thing you'll run into that's going to give you a little bit of trouble is storm atronachs. And how often do you run into those? I'm sorry, were you throwing spells? I didn't notice. Lovely day for a swim, isn't it? I have no idea where she is. I guess. No, there. Atronach perk really putting in the work. Or standing stone, whatever. Can you not? Oh, wait. You piece of crap. She has the, anti-armor perks. Ugh. Can you not? Oh my goodness, this is This is not nice. Honestly, I'm gonna have to do my best.
Are you prepared to die?
Speaking of immune to shock, that's cool. And a mud trap got in on the fun because of course it did. And also, shock spells, it's basically hit scan. There's no projectile motion, so they're way easier to hit dragons with. Also, watch this. Atronach is going to cover me for my mana, so... So it's just going to regen my mana, so I don't have to worry about anything like that. Oh wait. There we go. That was something, wasn't it? Whew. That was something. I'm just glad the Bandit Marauder didn't have a better Warhammer. Because that would have probably taken a bigger chunk out of my health bar if it did. Because that negates 50% of my armor. Now, how to get back to Solitude? I think I've done this once before. The Atronach healing does help. It doesn't help at all if I'm not against mages, but if I am against mages, typically the way restoration spell costs work, they're going to give me way more magicka than I actually, I will be able to indefinitely heal myself if I'm taking any magicka damage. And forget it, once I get the, not just the Atronach Stone, but the Atronach perk, oh, it's not even going to be fair. I just got a level alteration to 100. I find there are a lot of missed opportunities in games like this to really have difficult, challenging fights. I mean, well, the mechanics in Skyrim really don't lend themselves to a really challenging fight like a Souls game or something like that. But fine. I always put my sword away at the wrong times. Yeah. Well, the way the way to get around magic absorption for summons is I have for my own just personal playthroughs, I do have a magic overhaul that just makes it so that you know what, let's check to see what mods I don't have enabled, because I should still be able to see them. I just won't have them enabled. But yeah, to get around the problem with summons, just have a thrall. But yeah, I put in scaling shouts. That's a fun one. Once you get to high levels, shouts get bad, and then effective magic. That's the extent of how much I've done those. And the only reason is because magic is kind of... I think it's just the Bethesda game servers. It's the database they have, or whatever. It's the mods that they have in the Skyrim Special Edition, like just on the main menu. I think it's probably just logging you into the database. I don't know why it has to log you in, but who knows, honestly. It's Bethesda. I bet Bethesda employees have to log into the cafeteria at headquarters, so who knows, honestly. I don't really understand the point of security in that regard, but there might be a reason for it, even if I don't realize what it is. Ooh, a frost troll. Once I get back to Solitude, that might be it for this stream. Been playing for about 2 hours at this point. I think 2 hours on the dot, basically. Yep, 2 hours on the dot, right just that second. At least when I was looking at it. I mean, in terms of... I started this playthrough kind of late. I'll probably stay up a little while longer, but I don't want to... I'm always... Ah, no problem there. I am always worried if I play this too late, I get too tired, I'm going to make a severe mistake that I might not have made otherwise. Swallowed something wrong. My apologies. Whew. It's a very unfortunate way to illustrate a point. Ugh. not the Creation Club. It's just the mods that Bethesda has.
We're one of the same kind, you and I, if that is what you wish.
Because Bethesda sets it so that there are mods in the actual launcher that you can browse through and toggle in game, as opposed to having to go to a third-party website like Nexus. It's just logging into that, and honestly, I don't know why you have to log into that, but you do, and I'm not going to question it because, you know, maybe it's just some... Man, I have some blackberry lemonade they got from Costco. Really good stuff, but not going down the wrong pipe. Tannins and citric acid do not go well with lung tissue. Phew. Slightly better. At that, I think I'll head to the tavern and call it a day. Ugh. I think the only thing that is possibly worth... Yep. Honestly, if you're so good at fighting, I mean, just look historically. A lot of really great fighters didn't die in battle, they died for stupid stuff. Like, Attila the Hun died because he had too much to drink and choked on his own blood with a nosebleed. And then Alexander the Great got either poisoned or sick. All these great and mighty, you know, fight-oriented people died to basically... Actually, both of them probably died to drinks. It's the silent killer of the mighty. The improved AI mod, more like the where in God's green earth is the
Welcome to the Winking Skeep. Sure thing.
innkeeper
Service for
in
a
this
day.
place.
I'll show you to your room. Right this way.
It's this one, is it not? It is. Yeah.
Let me know if there's anything else you need.
Well, with that, I think I'm going to end the episode here. There's a bunch of times that we were at some pretty severe risk of dying due to, well, I mean, I think there was one time where we got below 50% health, but it was still like, I wasn't one health away.
Far ahead.
We still had a fairly good cushion there. I think I probably could have taken, like, you know, one more hit. So, not dead yet. And, hopefully me starting the Dawnguard quest doesn't put me in any situations where I'm going to expedite my death and end up not choking on my drink, but dying a glorious death in battle. Or not so glorious death in battle. At any rate, I probably actually need to get my better armor soon, so Dragon Rising coming up. No problem. And, see ya.